There are people who talk all the time, even when they have nothing to say. If you have nothing to say besides hello or hi, why talk? I really don't enjoy misguided politeness. It's like when someone tries to do something nice, but it has the opposite effect. Like you're walking towards a door, and you're too far away, but someone decides to hold it open for you anyway. So then you have to rush to get through the door so they don't awkwardly stand there holding it. Do you know what's easier than rushing through a parking lot to get through a door? Opening it yourself when you're there. When you're part of a magic show, you spend countless hours practicing. We only perform 4 nights a week, so it would seem like it's an easy schedule, but we spend...
Thank God it didn't get erased.
30 hours practicing? More if you're bringing someone new into the show? It's a lot. I don't particularly like any of the dating apps out there right now. They're all designed to let you chat with the person before you meet them.
God.
If you chat with the
This
person
is it.
before you meet them...
I am not
then you
playing
find out
shit
how
like
horrible
this.
they are, and you don't want to
Fuck
meet them.
that.
Then you don't even get the social
Yeah.
rewards of having gone on a date. You know what I want? I want a dating app where you don't
This
ever
is
have to
so
go on a
fucking
date. Where
cringe.
when you match with a likely candidate, the app takes the photos that you've each submitted and places them in a
This is
likely
like
dating
6 hours,
scenario.
bro.
Then it returns the photo to you. You can put that photo on your social media platforms, and it looks like you've been on a date. And you've never had to go on a date.
This shit's fucking ridiculous. Absolutely fucking appalling.
The problem most people make when they're breaking up with someone is that they try to be too nice. And that's very selfish. Not the good kind of selfishness either.
No, thank God.
When you're too nice with someone
weird,
and you're breaking up with them, it makes them sad. It makes them wish that you weren't leaving. It makes them think that maybe they should stay with you. When you're breaking up with someone, it is the one time of your life that you should be a complete asshole, so that they actually feel relieved. They feel like a burden has been lifted. Yeah. You should always be an asshole when you're breaking up with someone.
No.
That's why I'm very good at it. Everyone talks about selfishness like it's some sort of sin. Selfishness is necessary. Everyone wants good-paying jobs. Want them to be in our country and not another country. That's selfish. Everyone wants those good-paying jobs to be in our city, not another city. That's selfish. I want those good-paying jobs to be mine, not someone else's. That's selfish. Selfishness is necessary for us to survive. I haven't really talked to him that much. We talked a little bit when this place was being renovated. My magic act was becoming popular, and I was looking for a place to take up residency, and he was looking for an act to host in his arena. It worked out great. We've really only spoken a few times since then, usually about business. I guess you could say he's one of my best friends. I don't like interacting with people unless there's a purpose. I would say I'm a people person, but I grow weary of them quickly if they overstay their welcome or talk. I prefer quiet types who show who they are by their actions. You know, a lot of people will have shallow, fake friends who will tell you all about their day, but they'll never lift a finger if you need to move or get rid of a body.
Jesus
I really
Christ.
don't like people like that.
I need something to eat. What do we have? Is there anything around here? Bored out of my mind.
I've never had to get rid of a body. But if I did, I wouldn't be stupid about it. You know, everybody just tries to bury the body or throw it in a river with something heavy on it, trying to keep the cops from finding it.
Jesus
The
Christ.
cops are going to find the body.
Oh
But
my
if
God.
I was going to get rid of the body, I would throw it in the river with a bunch
Of course you would.
harness attached to it. And then I wouldn't attach the other end to anything.
Jesus
So when the
Christ.
cops found the body, as they're going to, they wouldn't assume it was murder.
I guess.
Just assume it was someone stupid who deserved to die. I mean, people win Darwin Awards every day. Why not take advantage of it? You've never heard of the Darwin Awards? They're my favorites. They're named for Charles Darwin, based around his survival of the fittest and genetics and stuff. So, whenever someone dies doing something that is so stupid, they do the human race a favor by draining themselves out of the gene pool. They get a Darwin Award. I used to love watching them on the internet, but now really it's just fails. They aren't legitimate Darwin Awards. So I watch a lot of roller coaster disasters instead. They're great too.
Fuck that.
Oh, it's understandable if you didn't know that I had my own magic act. I'm not on any of the posters. I used to be. But I learned early on that audiences expect a magician to be male. So I hired a male presenting actor as the magician. I started working as the assistant. My ticket sales, boom, shot way up. Oh, we promote it like it's his show, but he's essentially worthless. He doesn't do much of anything. I've actually replaced the actor that's played the magician 3 times. Audiences never noticed. They're fine as long as there's someone on stage who looks like they expect a magician to look. Usually with a goatee. For some reason, a goatee is mandatory. I'm not mad about it. My act has actually gotten a lot easier since I started working as an assistant and not the magician. I'll let you in on a little secret. The assistants are actually the ones who perform all the tricks in the magic act. The magician really is just there so that people have something to keep their eyes on. They're gonna watch him, see if they can figure out the trick, see if he's doing anything sneaky. Everyone really just ignores the girls in the shiny outfits. But we're the ones making the tricks work. Now, magic is all about misdirection. The magician is the biggest misdirection of all. You can get away with anything as long as someone's attention is focused on something else. That's the key to all of magic, half of life. Everyone knows it. Nobody cares. Back when I really was an assistant, I worked for magician the great Zambini. He based his signature trick on this very thing. See, we were part of a traveling carnival, and our stage was outdoors. At the beginning of the night, the back of the stage, a Zamboni was parked. It was the Zamboni. And he would tell the audience that at some point during the evening, he was going to make the Zamboni disappear and no one would notice. So about halfway through the evening...
You need to get out of the house, bro.
The audience had not yet seen.
You need to start dating people.
Particularly...
I told you this many times.
And the other assistants and I would help her up on top of a platform, and we would begin tying her up with scarves. We'd really take our time about it, make it very erotic.
Daniel likes her.
Wig.
All right, Daniel.
Pout. Make these cute little squeaky gerbil noises. While this was happening, Zambini would pull out his keys and drive the Zamboni off stage. And then he'd run back. We would make Kelly disappear in a fairly standard trick, and when it was done, Zambini would be standing where the Zamboni was.
Come on, Daniel. I'm in choke.
I just accomplished the most amazing feat in the world. And the audience loved it. They would clap like it was the best thing ever.
I'm almost choked, my God.
It was grotesquely sexist. But it worked. I haven't talked to her since we worked together. I'm sure she's doing fine. Supremely attractive people have it very easy. I'm sure she married rich or got kidnapped by human traffickers and sold on the black market. Either way, she's living in a big house with someone else paying all the bills. She's great.
Oh my God, Daniel, please.
When you're starting out in this industry, you will
Daniel.
take anything you can get.
Daniel, please.
It was rough. I was on the road for 6 months.
Jesus.
Before that, I was an assistant to a comedy magician. That was even worse. I'd still take that over any normal job. Oh, comedy magicians. Awful. None of it's real magic. It's all just jokes. I don't have any jokes in my act. Well, I have one, but I don't do it every night. I just save it for when I have a heckler. I've tried working normal jobs, but they all have the same problem. You have to deal with annoying people. You're not allowed to hurt them. I worked in a call center once. That wasn't too bad. And you couldn't touch the people to hurt them, but we were given scripts, which I'm sure were designed to emotionally torture whoever we talked to.
Jesus
The
Christ.
sadists that wrote them were really good at their jobs, too. Yeah. Oh, and there was this computer system they had to navigate before they were ever even allowed to connect with us.
Shit, bro.
Great job of wearing down their will to live.
What the?
By the time they got to us, hanging on by a thread.
Oh my God. You fucking guys are Daniel with the Bible stuff. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Most people are annoying. Some people take it to a whole new level. Some people are professional at it. Like those people who work in lotion kiosks at the mall. They know their product isn't any good. If it were any good, they would sell it in a store. But no, they're at a kiosk, harassing people who walk past until someone is so guilty that they can't just ignore them, and they stop. And then the lotion people start putting lotion on this poor chump. And it's awkward. And the person can't get away. And they massage them. And it's awkward. And the person can't get away. Until this poor slob buys something that is unnecessary and overpriced just to make it stop.
Yeah, I did that once.
Whenever I see those people, they've got someone in their clutches, I just walk up and I say, it puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the whole skin. They never seem to know how to respond to that. The fact that hecklers are still a thing is proof that society is a failure. I don't know why we still allow them to exist. I have a good way of dealing with them, though. Whenever we get a heckler that's too bad, I mean, it's really bad, I motion to the other assistants, and they notify the magician. And they invite the heckler up on stage to help us with our next act. So I bring out a specially made tall box, and the magician announces that he is going to make the heckler disappear. We put them in the box. We wrap the box up with chains, and we wheel it off stage. The audience loves it. They laugh, they clap. The heckler's never heard from again. Works great. Then backstage, I feed the heckler to my alligators. I don't have alligators. Box only opens one way. I push it up against an exit door, and when the heckler opens it, they can only leave. I've gotten exactly 2 negative Yelp reviews. Worth it. No one ever uses real magic in their magic act. It's all parlor tricks and very bendy assistants who can fit into small spaces. Machinery. Audiences just like to pretend it's real. If anybody ever came out and started performing sorcery or blood magic, the audience would lose their minds. That'd be nice. Every aspect of our society has failed. Look at politics. We live in a democracy that is so divided, no matter who gets elected, half of the population is going to be miserable and angry. Families are divided. Lifelong friendships are torn apart. We are so at odds right now that left and right Twix don't even come in the same package anymore. You can buy anything if you know where to look. I used to buy weed on the dark web before it was legal. I know there are people who buy fake IDs on the internet. Anything. You can find it. They say human trafficking is a $150 billion a year industry, and I want to know how they know that. Are human traffickers reporting income tax, or are they just making up numbers? Oh, I never had a fake ID. I grew up in a small town. It would have been pointless. Everybody knew everybody else anyway. And really, the only reason to have a fake ID is so that you can buy beer before you're old enough. And I don't drink. I did buy a lot of beer for other kids when I was in high school, though. I mean, sort of. I would buy the non-alcoholic beer, and then I would peel the labels off, and I printed my own, put something, generic and fancy sounding. And then, during study hall, I would just sell it at a drastic markup. Nobody ever called me out on it. I don't think they ever figured it out. I even remember hearing some of the kids brag about how much beer they were able to consume. Oh, they must have been very shocked when they attended their first college party. Oh, I know weed is legal now, but back before it was, everybody would smoke it anyway. It was just one of those crimes you never got in trouble for. Like speeding or practicing medicine without a license. The sale of human organs is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. And who do you think is taking those organs out of the people who lose them and putting them into the people who need them?
Oh my God.
I doubt it's someone practicing with a license. But I'm not doing it. I am not involved in that industry. I dabble in taxidermy, but I am not skilled enough to take a kidney out of someone and put it in someone else. And have one of them live.
Shut the fuck up, please. Oh, please help me. Oh my God. Why is this
Taxidermy is a hobby of mine. Whenever I find a dead animal, I take it home and I stuff it.
Why am I playing?
And then I save them, and when I have enough of them collected, I take them to dying children in the children's hospital.
Oh my God.
Because children love stuffed animals.
No fucking way. Shut the fuck up.
I think everyone should have hobbies. I like taxidermy.
Jesus Christ.
And sensory deprivation. I made my own sensory deprivation.
Oh, fucking please,
like
stop
to lie and
it.
Be alone with my thought. It's very peaceful in there.
Oh, fucking stop.
I slept in it once.
Jesus.
It's like sleeping in a coffin.
Oh my God. Unknown, tell them what this is. Jesus, please.
I ask them to draw me a picture, and then I trade them for one of the stuffed animals.
Oh, God.
It makes them feel better to barter. No one wants to be pitied, just given stuff.
Oh.
Even kids dying of cancer.
Jesus.
I save all the pictures they give me.
Jesus Christ, man.
They say that a piece of art at least doubles in value once the artist dies, and I'm sure their parents will pay top dollar in about a decade.
Fucking game, I
People
swear.
don't barter enough these days. They
This
don't
is
haggle
work.
enough either. For instance, if someone has a poster for a lost pet, and they offer a $100 reward. Now, in my experience,
Oh, God
most
damn
people would
it.
just take the $100 and be happy. I try to haggle a little.
Jesus,
I'll
please.
go for at least $150. I mean, no one posts their best offer on a flyer.
This is so
that's going on
fucking
telephone.
cringe. I can't fucking take it. I'm gonna
I
cry.
return lost pets to their owners as a side hustle.
Oh, God damn
See,
it.
whenever I see a flyer that has a reward offered and a phone number, I take it down. And then I post the flyer with my phone number, and I offer half the reward. Then someone else finds the pet, returns it to me. Then I do a nice little markup, call the original phone number, and reunite the pet with its parent for a profit. Does very well. Have you ever tried sleeping in a coffin?
Fuck that.
It's relaxing. It's cozy.
Sometimes
There's extra layers of noise insulation in case you have loud
you
neighbors.
just have to play shit.
I slept in one back when I
and
had
you
college
question
roommates.
everything. Why am I playing this? Why?
Oh, I didn't actually go to college, but I lived in student housing after high school.
Jesus Christ.
So you don't actually have to be a student to live there. I hated having roommates, but it's all I could afford. I bought my own place as soon as I could, but they kicked me out.
Please, Queen. No more choices, please.
High school is awful.
Yeah.
I mean, you undergo years of traumatic experiences.
Right.
And then, when you finally escape, they invite you back for a reunion.
Fuck that.
So that you can go spend more time with the same people who made your childhood traumatic.
Nope.
I don't understand it.
I don't understand either.
Do survivors of other traumatic experiences have reunions?
Fuck that.
I mean, do people who lived through a plane crash
Nope.
get together and reminisce about the turbulence they experienced
Fuck that
before it
too.
all went pear-shaped?
Nope.
I don't understand reunions or nostalgia in general. People cling to the past like it was the best part of their lives. But do you know what most people spent most of the past doing? Waiting for the future to come so their miserable lives would improve. Really makes no sense to me. I don't live in the past. I look to the future. I am so ready to be in the future. The second my contract is up, I am out of here. I am retiring to someplace very far away with very few people, and I am never going to think about Las Vegas again.
Tape. She's
Can't wait
out.
for that. Yeah, I want to see what the future holds, because I'm done here.
She's out. She's no choice.
Well, that's surprising. I would have thought she'd be more emotionally invested in the Bellflower.
Fuck the Bellflower, bro.
For so long.
Gotta get someone else.
I guess I must have misjudged her.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. Last choice. The most annoying one yet.
I used to work at the Bellflower as a professional gambler. That's actually how I met Mr. Davenport.
Yeah.
His security guards thought that I was cheating, actually, so they
Not
brought
yet.
me
You can wait
in
for this bitch to
hours
finish.
and hours of questioning. Thankfully, they looked through the security footage and saw that I was not cheating. They could have just kicked me out, but Mr. Davenport was so kind, and he actually put me in a room for a full week to make up for the trouble that had been caused. This is the nicest hotel I've ever been in. Oh, I've been an orphan almost my entire life. Yeah, my
Jesus.
parents died in a fishing accident when I was very
Jesus.
little. The only living relative I have is my Uncle Albert, but we don't really talk at all. He's been in and out of prison my whole life. My Uncle Albert? Oh, he goes back to prison all the time. He's actually serving a life sentence, but he keeps escaping. I don't know how he keeps getting out, but the guards catch him and put him right back in. Albert is from the dark side of my family. We didn't like to
Jesus
associate
Christ.
with them very much growing up.
How do you create games like this? This is like fucking torture.
We were always a little bit ashamed to be related to Albert's side
Oh
of the
my
family,
God.
to be honest. I mean, I know that I'm not some great success or anything like that, but at least I'm
Jesus
trying to better
Christ.
myself. Albert's mom was a lawyer, and his dad was a member of Congress for over a decade. It's like they didn't even try to have honest jobs.
She's the worst.
My parents used to take me fishing on the southern coast of Alabama. I don't think we were supposed to be fishing at the spot they found, but there was never anybody around to tell us to leave, so we did it anyway. It was really nice, and almost like a real vacation. Anyway, we didn't have a real boat. We had just 3 of those floating pool chairs that we'd like paddle out and just sit there and fish. It was really relaxing. Anyway, one day my parents caught an undertow and the current pushed them out deep into the ocean.
You're crazy.
Luckily, I managed to get to shore, but it took me a while to find anyone for help. The authorities searched and searched for them, but all they could find were their pool chairs, empty. It was really bad, but I was placed into the foster care system.
God, I'm gonna play a violin.
I wasn't in the foster care system for very long. When I was 9, I was placed with a foster family, but unfortunately, my foster parents died the first night that I was with them.
Of course.
A burglar broke in and murdered them.
Wow.
My foster mom was able to call the police, but by the time they arrived, they were already dead.
That's crazy.
And the police couldn't find the burglar anywhere.
Wow.
The prosecutor on the case assumed that I had murdered my foster parents and even accused me of killing my birth parents.
Wow.
So he got the judge to sign off that I was going to be tried as an adult instead of a child, even though I was only 9.
9 years old.
Luckily, they did find the real killer, and it turns out he was just really good at hiding, and he was in a crawl space under the house. So, unfortunately, due to this legal loophole that in Alabama I was now considered legally an adult, so I was out of the foster care system and I had to find a job. So I worked in a coal mine.
At age 9,
I wanted to be doing, but
she worked at a coal mine. 9.
And when I was 18, I moved out of Alabama.
9.
I didn't have much money saved up, so I had to hop onto a train like they do in the movies. Only it wasn't exactly like how they do it in the movies because there were no big empty cars with those open sides that you could just hop right onto.
This shit?
The best I could find was
this
a
is
small
the most
platform that stuck out from
ridiculous
the train a couple
fucking
of
shit
inches. I was
I've
able to put my
ever
feet
heard
on
in my
that,
life.
And then there was a handle that I could cling to.
I
figured that I could just stay like that for an hour and then I'd be across state lines.
This person
but unfortunately,
that wrote
the
this
train
shit
picked up a lot of speed and I was
never
stuck
hire
clinging
anywhere.
onto the train up
Fuck
until
that.
Detroit.
Oh my god.
Well, I hadn't intended on going to Detroit, but since I was there, I decided to make the most out of it.
Right.
I got a job as the mascot at a children's restaurant. It was kind of a cheap ripoff of Chuck E. Cheese. And I had a costume that wasn't so much a cute mouse as a scary rat. But luckily, the kids didn't seem to mind too much. But I was only there for a little bit anyway. The first time I got my paycheck, I went to the bank and I was still in my rat costume. And unfortunately, 2 bank robbers came in also in costume. So when the police showed up, they assumed that I was with them and arrested me along with them. I was able to sort things out at the police station and I got off, but my picture in costume was already in the newspaper. So my boss didn't like seeing his mascot on the front page of the newspaper. Got fired.
It's like the most compulsive fucking liar in existence.
My first job interview was for a job selling jewelry.
Jesus, all
I
bullshit.
didn't have any experience, so they said they couldn't hire me.
Oh my
My
god.
second job interview was at an adult video store. They needed someone to clean up those video booths after customers used them. I also didn't have any experience with this, but I really wanted the job, so I lied and said that I'd been doing it for 15 years already in 3 different cities. I thought for sure they were going to hire me, but for some reason they didn't. I guess that was karma telling me that I shouldn't have lied.
So Unknown, you gotta talk me through the saving thing.
I wasn't always homeless. Actually, when I was in Alabama, I had 3,000 square feet to myself. I felt like a wealthy land baron or something. But I didn't have a house on the land, but I did have a really nice tent at first.
What you do to be for competition, you play all this shit.
Save up for a house. Well, not a house. I actually bought an 8-foot by 10-foot shed.
Jesus Christ.
Fantastic. It was just as good as a house. Had a roof, 4
And you
walls,
think I'm gonna buy the
window,
sequel to
door,
this?
Everything I needed.
Unknown?
I don't know why more people
Hell
don't just
no.
live in sheds.
Fuck this, bro. Fuck this game.
That was the nicest place I ever lived.
Jesus.
Unfortunately, 2 weeks after I bought that shed, it was swallowed in a sinkhole. So
I'd rather have
there
fucking
was really
diarrhea.
nothing left for me in Alabama.
Fuck, play this shit,
I
bro.
decided to chase my childhood dream and move to Albuquerque.
Bro, fuck that. I am not playing this again.
Oh,
You
that
crazy?
was the wildest
Fuck,
thing.
bro.
I actually ended up here in Vegas by accident.
Jesus
but
Christ.
While I was here, I figured I might as well try gambling.
Sure.
It
Why
turned out
not?
I was extremely bad at it, though.
Yeah.
And I actually caught the eye of a wealthy man
God.
who asked me to be a professional gambler
Who
for him.
writes this
So
shit?
he would give me money to play craps, and
Please
then
stop
he would
it.
bet
Just
on me
fucking
losing.
stop it.
And we actually made a great team, and he made a ton of money off me.
Fuck that,
But
bro.
the casinos started noticing what was happening, and they started kicking us out. Mr. Davenport was the only one who was really nice about it, though.
I'll buy this when there's nothing to fucking platinum. When I'm bored out of my fucking mind. And I'm like, oh, let me just waste the whole entire 24 hours playing this for fucking time, bro.
Well, I didn't mean to end up here.
Not for a long
I
time.
was on a bus on my way to Denver, and
Fuck
the bus
that.
stopped here, and I got off to use the bathroom, but I guess I took too long because
Yeah, you
when
took
I
too
came
long.
back out, the bus was gone. And
Yeah.
It also had my luggage on it.
Of course.
When I got here, all I had was the clothes
Shit.
on my back. But
Yeah.
I'm glad it happened because I had a really good time here.
How long am I playing this? 3 hours? This is what I'm talking about.
Oh.
This game fucking ridiculous.
He was a rich person just like you'd see in the movies. I mean,
Oh.
he had a 3-piece suit on with a jacket and a matching
Oh,
vest and
God.
everything. His car had a hood ornament on it, and he even had brown socks to match his brown shoes. I don't know what to do with that kind of money. I think the first
Oh
thing
my
I might
God,
do
bro.
would be to buy a monocle, though.
Fuck that, bro. I'm so scared of saving this
I've
because I
wanted
want
a
to get a
monocle my
trophy
whole
after all
life.
this.
I've had really
I don't
bad
want it to get
vision
fucked
in
up.
one of my eyes since I was a little girl. This one time I found a pair of glasses that had a missing lens, but the lens it did have was very close to my vision needs. So I had that. It was perfect. Almost perfect. The lens was on the wrong side, so I did have to wear them
course it
upside
was.
down.
Yeah.
Eventually I tried to take the lens out and put it in the correct side, but when I did, the lens cracked and I couldn't wear them anymore.
Of course not. Right. It's all bullshit. This fucking shit bullshit.
Well, I wasn't in Denver proper, but I was
Oh,
about
God,
half
here
an
we
hour
go.
away at this ski resort
Look
very
at this
close
shit.
by. Anyway, I worked at the ski resort first as a ticket salesperson,
course.
but then I studied and worked really hard to become a ski instructor.
Of course you did.
But
Like you fucking know what you're
sadly,
doing.
like all my jobs, it didn't last.
No.
The first time I took a group out to go skiing, I was supposed to bring them to an intermediate level hill, but unfortunately I read the color coding wrong.
Of course you
and
did.
I brought them to an advanced hill.
Right.
There's a huge difference between
course there
an
is.
intermediate hill and an advanced
Oh,
hill.
yeah.
I, of course, lost my job.
Of course you did. Because they're all dead. Probably.
Ever since I
This
was
is
a
so-
little girl, I wanted
I want
to
to cry.
city.
Like,
You know, one of those
why do you
places
make
that
these
musicians
games?
write songs about. A
please,
place like
unknown,
Albuquerque.
please.
When
You
I
wanted me
finally
to see
moved to Albuquerque,
torture.
it exceeded my
You wanted
expectations.
me to be tortured
all the
playing
glitz,
this shit.
all the glamour, it was incredible. And the best part
Raining
was the
elbows
people
won't
were
touch
really
this
nice.
shit. Are you kidding
It
me?
was great. I'd probably still be there today if it weren't for the puppy incident.
Interesting. Oh, God, the puppy incident. Look at this shit now.
A little boy had lost his dog, and the entire community banded together to try to find it. Every business had some sort of poster in the window asking for
Oh.
people to find the dog.
Of course
and
not.
I actually came across the dog. But
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was already dead.
Of course it was.
I buried it. And then I wanted to do that thing that they do in TV shows where you replace one dead animal with a new alive animal that looks the
Jesus
same.
fucking whacked.
So I went to every pet store in town until I found a dog that looked like the dog that I had buried that had died. I
Yeah.
brought it to the little boy's family, and they seemed so happy.
Mm.
It was great
Yeah.
until about 2 weeks after that when I found out the truth.
Oh, yeah.
The little boy and his family weren't looking for a lost pet.
Nope.
Unfortunately, they were looking for a dog that had bitten the little boy.
Of course.
They wanted the dog to see if the dog had rabies.
Yeah.
since I didn't bring the correct dog back, they couldn't test the dog, and it turns out the dog that bit the little boy did have rabies.
Of course
That's
he did.
why he died. The story
Yeah.
doesn't have a happy ending
No.
for the little boy, and I couldn't face the townspeople anymore, so
Yeah.
I had to move out of Albuquerque.
Yeah, because everybody died again.
Oh, I've done it all.
Of course.
I've delivered
Of course you
pizzas.
have. Of course.
I had an ice cream truck.
Jesus
I worked in
Christ.
a pet shop. I even worked on a cruise ship. I've had some truly wonderful jobs, but
Yeah.
sadly nothing ever worked out.
Nope. Here we go.
I worked at a really fancy pizza place that had a big dining room and everything. It was great. Anyway, the owner, my boss, was trying to sell it, so the potential buyers were coming in to see it and to go over the books.
Of course.
The owner said that we had to look as busy as possible when they came in to make a good impression, so anytime there was extra space in any of the pizza ovens, we just started making cheese pizzas. I was given the cheese pizzas anytime I was making a delivery, and I was told that I needed to just throw them in the dumpster, but I felt really weird about doing that because the town had a lot of homeless people. So instead, I decided to do a good deed and pass them out to them instead.
Right,
After the
Daniel?
potential buyer had looked through the restaurant, he was being driven back by my boss to his hotel room, and on the way, I guess they saw about 20 homeless people with our very distinct pizza boxes. I don't know what he thought, but he didn't end up buying the place after all, and I lost my job.
Yeah.
I got a job at a pet shop.
This is the
but
best.
I only worked there a few
Oh, no,
weeks
listen to
before
this
I got
shit.
fired, unfortunately. Before I worked there, I really didn't know anything about animals, so I did learn a lot on the job, thankfully.
Look at this shit.
Anyway, my boss would have me open up, and then he'd come in a couple hours later, around noon. And one day, we got a hamster delivery, 2 hamsters, and my boss had left a note saying, put them in a fish tank.
Shit's
The
fucking...
thing is, my boss didn't specify it was supposed to be an empty fish tank.
Oh, God.
So I put
Damn
them
it.
in a fish tank that had fish and water in
Sure.
it. It also had
You're
a
a nut.
lid on the top.
You're a fucking lunatic.
Anyway, the hamsters almost drowned, but
course they did.
thankfully we had this machine that was pumping air into the bottom of the tank, so the little guys were really smart, and they took turns breathing out of the air hose.
Fucking shit.
It was a dream of mine for a really long time to have my own ice cream
Fucking
truck. I
stupid
love the
bitch.
idea of having my own business, being an entrepreneur, and selling wonderful sweet treats to people over jolly music. Anyway, it took a really long time, but eventually I did buy my own ice cream truck.
Oh, fuck
Well, it
off.
wasn't actually an ice cream truck. It was an El Camino, and it had 2
Yeah.
freezers full of ice cream in the back. So
Yeah.
anytime I wanted to sell ice cream, I just have to park and get out and go around back. It was great,
Yeah.
and I'd still be doing it if I hadn't lost my license.
Yeah, of course you did. Why'd you lose your license? Let's keep
I wasn't
finding
just
out.
selling ice cream out of my El Camino.
my
I was
God.
also living in it.
Oh, of
The
course.
ice cream chests in the back
You
were
fucking
plugged into the
smelly-ass
cigarette
feet.
lighter inverter, so the
Oh,
engine
they-
had to be running at all times so that the ice cream wouldn't
Oh,
melt.
fucking
This made it really
stupid
hard to
fuck.
sleep. Anyway, one night I had a few drinks and I was trying to sleep. And
course.
the engine was still running so that the ice cream wouldn't melt, and a policeman came over to see what was happening.
What's happening, ma'am?
I didn't know this, but you can actually get a DUI if you're drinking while your engine's on, even if you aren't moving.
Yeah.
So I ended up being sent to prison.
Right. Because your smelly ass feet was with the ice cream that you fucking feed people.
I actually got really lucky with my prison sentence.
Of course you did.
I was sentenced to 3 months in prison, but they let me out after 2.
Of course.
Also, I was sent in right before Christmas, which was great because on Christmas Day, they gave everybody a delicious cinnamon bun. It
Jesus
was the best
Christ.
cinnamon bun I've ever had.
My God.
I guess sometimes Lady Luck is on my side.
Of course it is.
That was the most
Oh,
amazing
this is
job
the
I've
worst.
ever had. It was also the shortest.
Right.
Unfortunately, the first time that we went out, we actually hit an iceberg and sank like the Titanic.
Iceberg. Yeah,
Some
we're
of
gonna
the
just hit the
lifeboats
fucking
got
iceberg.
destroyed, but most people were able to get on one. The rest of us had to survive by climbing onto the iceberg.
Climb an iceberg. Yeah. Climb an iceberg.
After the ship sank, there were over 80 of us stranded on the iceberg.
80.
And we had no way to call
On
for help,
ice.
no food, no water. So
No.
out of desperation, we took off our clothes and we tried to form a sail out of them, hoping
Sure.
that we could ride the iceberg to shore. The sail we made out of our clothes didn't end up working, and it didn't move the iceberg at all.
God damn it.
Actually, after an hour, it just flew away.
He climbed the
So we were
iceberg.
just left there, half naked and freezing.
Hey,
Luckily,
Daniel.
a cargo ship came upon us.
You
and
ready for that?
They were able to rescue us from the iceberg. But we didn't speak their language, and they didn't speak English, so
Of course not.
we couldn't explain to them why we were all half naked on
Right.
an iceberg.
Of course not.
They dropped us off in Quebec after a very awkward trip.
Yeah. I'll bet. Quebec.
I don't know what happened to the other survivors. When we got to Quebec, we all just separated.
Sure.
Hitchhiking back to the United States from Canada was really unpleasant. Everyone only spoke French, and I was still half naked. Luckily, someone did stop, and they had a pickup truck, so they let me
Jesus,
sit in the
Daniel.
back, and they stopped 20 miles
That's
from the New York
horrible.
border, which was great because I only had about a 6-hour
Oh my
walk back to the
God,
States.
Daniel.
I know they say you shouldn't hitchhike because it's dangerous, but the thing is, I've had a lot of luck hitchhiking over the years. The first time that I hitchhiked, I was going from Detroit to Albuquerque, and these 3 really nice dudes in a hippie van picked me up. It turns out they were a traveling folk band, and they taught me how to drive so that I could drive down the highway while they were practicing in the back.
Right.
It took a really long time to get to Albuquerque because they kept having to stop for shows, and we did have to camp in their van every night, but it was still great. You know, I've met my fair share of famous people over the year, but this was really cool because they were real musicians, and we got to get pretty close. Also, by the time we got to Albuquerque, I was so good at driving that I passed my driver's test the first time. I met Orville Redenbacher at the airport once.
Jesus
It was
Christ.
awesome. He was in line trying to get his luggage, and I thought, should I approach him or should I not?
Fuck.
You know, I imagine a famous popcorn magnate like that is probably constantly having groups of people swarming him, trying to get his autograph. But anyway, I decided to go for it. So I went up to him and I said, I love your popcorn commercials. And he was really flattered and turned out to be a super nice guy. He even signed my cast. Anyway, that was in 1997. I found out later that he had actually died in 1995, so it couldn't have been him, but it was a really nice old man, and it was still a really fond memory. Oh, I wasn't at the airport to catch a flight. Sadly, I've been homeless a few times throughout my life, and one of the tricks that I picked up was that you can go to an airport and pretty easily find a place to sleep. I think they're used to having people who need to find a quiet spot because their flight is delayed or there's a long layover, so it doesn't look too weird if you find a spot and just sleep there. But there is a trick, and
No,
that's
she
to not
didn't.
overstay your welcome. So after 7 or 8 hours, you gotta get out of there. Also, you should never go back to the same airport twice unless a few years have passed. You know, I found a few creative places to sleep over the years. You just gotta know the tricks.
Right.
A lot of homeless people will choose gas stations and fast food restaurants to sleep at overnight, but I think that's actually a really bad idea because they're out in the open and the employees are probably going to have to kick them out. So when I was homeless, I always made sure to find a very hidden spot. So, for instance, I once worked at a fast food restaurant and I noticed that there was a ladder out back. So I climbed it and there was a beautiful roof that I could sleep in.
Yes.
There and just made sure that no one saw me go up and no one saw me come down. So I had my smartphone, thankfully, to set an alarm to make sure that I'd be down in time and also get to work in time. It was working really well for a few months, but then eventually someone did see me go up on the roof. They figured out that I was sleeping there, and I did get fired, but, you know, I can't really blame them. I always thought that smartphones were such a waste of money, but Honestly, once someone told me about the food delivery services and how much money you can make doing those, I had to get one. And I'm glad I did. It worked really well for a few days when I had my car. But sadly, all those miles really wore it out, and I had to bring it into the shop, and I just couldn't afford the repairs. So I ended up just getting a bus pass, and that was how I was making my food delivery runs. Didn't work quite as well. Actually, sometimes I would have to transfer to multiple buses, so it ended up taking like an hour to deliver.
This game was what, $12.99?
Eventually, I just kind of stopped doing it. I wasn't making any money.
Yeah.
I broke my arm at the zoo. You know those signs that warn you not to feed the animals?
Right.
Well, you should really pay attention to those.
Yeah.
I tripped over one, landed on the sidewalk, and broke my arm. It was okay, though, because I had an appointment at the hospital later that day anyway, so I just had my doctor fix my arm then.
Here we go. This is the big reveal.
Oh, I've been to the hospital a lot. I tend to get hurt pretty easily. You know, I've had so many x-rays and MRIs. I'm surprised I don't have superpowers. I've broken a few bones over the years. I've been in all kinds of accidents. A hunting accident, a skydiving accident, normal stuff like that. I broke my leg hunting. I was sitting in a tree with my friend and we had a few drinks and she told a really funny joke. Anyway, I was laughing so hard that I lost my balance and I actually fell out of the tree right on an 8-point buck. They still gave me credit for the kill. When you see people parachuting on TV and in movies, it seems like they're being gently lowered onto the ground like a feather. But I am here to tell you that is not the case. Even with the parachute, you're actually falling really fast and impact can be really rough. I found that out the hard way. I was walking around and a skydiver landed right on top of me. Actually broke my arm in 2 places and gave me a concussion. I never saw the skydiver again, which is too bad because I'll never have a chance to thank them. Well, if it weren't for them landing on me, I wouldn't have gotten a concussion, so I wouldn't have gone to the hospital, and they wouldn't have given me an MRI, so I never would have found my brain tumor.
There you go.
They say there's nothing they can do for me, but at least now I know I only have 3 or 4 months left to live, so I can start checking things off my bucket list.
Yeah.
That poor woman never catches a break, does she? I don't suppose it would be logical to leave a hotel to someone who's not going to be alive much longer than I am.
So, you're saying I could save this. What? Alright, so how do I do that? I hit the... What if it doesn't save? Because my PlayStation 5 has been malfunctioning. Okay. And then I'll come back in here. Alright. So wait, close the game or try to save it while it's on? Let me see. Close it first? Okay. Alright, thank you guys. Take care. Bye for now.